Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'll be answering the question of what's the connection between trauma and MDD. I've seen people ask question of like what trauma causes MDD or does trauma cause MDD? Actually, it, trauma doesn't cause a thing. Let's first understand it doesn't cause it. No. What happens is trauma actually is like these stuck emotions or these negative experiences which we cannot process fully in the moment they are occurring. So we cannot process emotions fully, or we cannot process an experience fully when it's occurring. It becomes traumatic, or those emotions become stored in your onto to like your basement. So instead of you throwing away that negative emotion or that trash, you store it in your basement because you feel that you don't have the necessary resources to throw it away. So when these things pile up in your basement, they now become like traumatic memories. So what happens is your excessive daydreaming now is your coping mechanism. It is helping you manage those negative emotions when they come to the surface. So let's say the anxiety you've never processed from like 10 years ago, when it comes to the surface, of course it's painful. It's like you are feeling two emotions. You are feeling a current emotion, then you are also feeling the memory of a past emotion. So real life situations trigger your traumatic memories, and when you're triggered, you are feeling present and past emotions. And when you feel this present and past emotions, of course you'll feel overwhelmed. And what happens is the mind will want to take you to your preferred coping mechanism. And for an excessive daydreamer now, your preferred coping mechanism is excessive daydreaming. That's why like that's the connection. Like it's a coping mechanism for your trauma. So what is this connection exactly? The first connection is escapism. So excessive daydreaming or that imaginary world offers you comfort from the negative emotions you're supposed to process. So because the mind sees that, or the mind has got accustomed to you not really processing these emotions, it always wants to keep you safe. And by keeping you safe here, it's finding comfort in something which is offering you at least a temporary relief from feeling those emotions. And to you now, it is excessive daydreaming. To someone else, it can be substance abuse. To someone else, it can be a toxic relationship. But for an maladaptive daydreamer, it is that imaginary world. So the mind always pulls you to this world so that you can at least feel comfortable and safe. The other aspect is emotional regulation. So when your traumatic memories are triggered or like are brought to the surface, because you lack in quotes, of course you lack the inner resources to process these emotions fully in the present moment, or you're not used to processing these emotions because you've been stuck in them. The mind feels that no, the emotions will be overwhelming, and when these emotions are overwhelming, the mind of course will take you to this place where it feels that at least you can manage the emotions, and that place is the imaginary world. Another aspect of trauma is control. So when you are traumatized, actually there's one thing which trauma may make you feel. It may make you feel powerless over the situation. Let's say you are a child that you were abused. You are powerless over that situation in that moment because you depended on those caregivers to provide for you. So when you have these deeply ingrained beliefs of powerlessness, you may resort to this imaginary one because you feel in control of what's happening. It gives you a false sense of control over your life, a false sense of having power over your life. So instead of taking control back in your life, because you feel that in your life you can't take control because you have a deeply ingrained belief of just feeling powerless and helpless, the mind will take you to another place where you feel in control and you have power over what's happening. So that's why. And the other aspect is of course avoidance. So excessive daydreaming is also like a plain avoidance of dealing with your emotions. Dealing with these negative emotions actually is a daunting task, and at first it will be painful, of course, to have to process those things or to have to look at those things, those inner demons you are running away from. So what we normally do with life is we look for a way to avoid them. And avoidance for someone can be skipping therapy or binge eating or just doing something else. So for an excessive daydreamer now, avoidance is going to this imaginary world. At least you are avoiding it for some minutes or for some hours. And when you avoid them, you come back to them. So the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. Like anytime you get stressed, instead of dealing with it, you avoid it. The more you keep doing it, the mind will associate the stress you are getting with the daydreaming. So instead of dealing with those unprocessed emotions or those traumatic memories, you now choose to avoid on a consistent basis. Tied with this point of avoidance also is the aspect of dissociation. Like when you are daydreaming, you are detached from reality. Like you are in this other space. And when you are detached from reality, it means that you are not feeling the real emotions of your real life. So because you're not feeling the real emotions of your real life, of course, you're feeling better. You're feeling okay. So you're not seeing those unprocessed emotions in your basement, those stresses, those anxieties you've never really processed. So because you're not seeing them, at least you're feeling much okay. So that's how trauma comes in. So trauma comes in because trauma, so MDD comes in as a way of escapism, as a way of regulating your emotions, or as a place where you feel in control of your life, or as a way of you avoiding processing those emotions, or as a way of detaching yourself from reality. So it may look okay first doing these things, like looking for a coping mechanism for your trauma, but the thing is about all these coping mechanisms is you'll not really be living, you'll be more of surviving, because you are letting the past affect your life. Because the fact that you are coping, or you have something which is the fact that something in the past, you in the past, is controlling you now, means that you are never really present in your own life. You are never really connected with your present self or your authentic self. So always look for ways to process those emotions, and don't let anyone tell you that it's not possible to heal or to process your past emotions, or you'll get triggered. No, it depends on how you do it. It depends on the kind of therapy you are doing. So your daydreaming is interfering with processing your emotions. It's not helping with processing your emotions. It's interfering because it's driving you away from the actual thing you are supposed to face. And that actual thing you're supposed to face is processing those emotions, or dealing with that pain. So if you ever feel ready and committed to really deal with the trauma, or to process those emotions, or to process those negative experiences, of course, you can book a free breakthrough call with me and I'll help you through it. And always focus on dealing with things as they happen. Until next time, guys, hope you found that informative. Until next time, have a lovely weekend.